Walter Lantz was a New Yorker who really had most of his formidable development as a character animator at the Bray studio, but he had his dreams and ambitions to come to Los Angeles.
Walter Lantz, I think, wanted to expand his horizons. He was now a man with at least a small reputation, having made short subjects. His name was on movie posters. He wasn't a nobody. Fell in with a fantastic crowd that included Carl Laemmle, Frank Capra, and he'd be invited to their poker games. Maybe he'd be the guy getting sandwiches, but he'd be there. And they liked him. He was a great, great guy.
He got this opportunity working for Universal to produce and direct these Oswald the Rabbit cartoons.
Mr. Laemmle sort of noticed that this fellow at our poker games is a successful New York cartoon producer. He asked him if he would take over the studio, and it wouldn't be an independent studio, it would be Universal's own studio.
Walter Lantz, the creator, begins the picture work with a sketch of Oswald Rabbit and the other characters of the film right here in his casting department.
You know, it's sort of a natural assumption that all animated cartoons are made by the Disney organization. Well, of course they weren't. Universal was the first of the big studios to have a cartoon department.
Now this is the scene where Oswald's team is losing. The score is 75-0.
You know, they were contracted to deliver to Universal several cartoons every theatrical season. They were advancing him the money with which he made the cartoons.
The huge stack of celluloids is to be photographed one at a time by an intricate and cunning camera.
He fared better in the late 30s with Andy Panda. He found a little niche, which was when he created characters, he decided they would always be an odd animal that nobody else thought of.
Between 1935 and 1940, the studio went through several shakeups, basically because the pictures were making less and less money. They realized, if Walter can make cartoons that we can distribute, fine, but he's not going to get any more advances from the studio. And this was a way for the studio to save money. They were in trouble. So Walter was stuck with, he didn't know how he could go on making cartoons without that income coming in from the studio, without the advances.
He had a certain amount of financial hardships.
He mortgaged his house. He raised $14,000, you know, was on good terms with his employees, and they came to work every day because they had nowhere else to go.
The staff that worked with him really loved this idea of just getting one character to hit.
It's really important to have a major star. Paramount had Betty Boop and Popeye. Disney had Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. You really needed that for audience identification, the audience likability.
Finally, Laverne Harding said, let's make a picture. They made the picture, they sold it to Universal, Universal put it out there, and the studio was able to get rolling again.
That's the same year, 1940, that Bugs Bunny emerges. The same year that Tom and Jerry emerge. There's a real shift going on in animated cartoons. And again, Lantz is there.
When he became an independent producer in 1940, exactly 3 cartoons in was Knock Knock, and that's, of course, the cartoon that introduces Woody Woodpecker.
Guess who?
By 1940, there's suddenly a new feeling about this kind of New York, spunky style that's emerging that's really representing America. We're not going to take that kind of an attitude. When you introduce, in one of the Andy Panda cartoons, this wise guy, crazy, lunatic bird, completely left field and completely not Disney. Suddenly the public notices and takes interest. Walter Lantz catches the wave right at the perfect moment.
Once he had Woody Woodpecker, then he had something that really made money for Universal Studios.